Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Executive Director of the SS United States Conservancy, Susan Gibbs.
The journey of America's flagship began nearly a century ago as one young man's dream. My grandfather, William Francis Gibbs, dreamed of the fastest, safest, strongest, and most technologically advanced ship to ever grace the sea. As chronicled by many maritime historians, some of whom are here in this room, this extraordinary ship's emergence was as improbable as it was ambitious. The ship emerged as a powerful expression of American innovation and ambition. Before the moonshot, the space shuttle, the computer, the iPhone, this nation gave the world the SS United States. The SS United States was the epitome of design, luxury, and cutting-edge technology. She was also a top-secret Cold Warrior. Her propellers, speed, and hull design were carefully hidden underneath her luxurious veneer, away from the prying eyes of the Soviet Union and the Cunard Line. When she smashed the transatlantic speed record in both directions in 1952, averaging an astonishing 40 miles an hour using only 2/3 of her power, she epitomized our nation's post-war can-do spirit and global reach. After her retirement, our nation's flagship has continued to surprise us, captivate us, inspire us, and endure against all odds. Today we announce and we celebrate a major new milestone for our ship's extraordinary journey. She will again become a true ambassador and an icon, global ambassador, and an icon of technology, innovation, and impeccable design. The SS United States is ready to make history once again because so many people from the world over refused to give up on her. They shared our conviction that, as the late Walter Cronkite said, scrapping the ship would be a crime against history. Over the past 5 years, the ship's global community of supporters has grown. We have become unstoppable, and it has brought us here. As the SS United States Conservancy has worked tirelessly to keep our ship safe and sound and give her a new life and purpose, we have been inspired by the support and dedication of so many. I'd like to thank in particular the Conservancy's board of directors, many of whom are right in the front row, and our advisory council, many of whom are here, our chapter leaders from across the country, including Jordan Morris, who is beaming from where he is right now, and our thousands of members and volunteers, and of course, our donors. To Jim Poland, Richard O'Leary, and a game-changing anonymous contributor, we cannot thank you enough for responding to our SOS last fall and giving us the lifeline that led us here. Thank you also to the team in Atlantic Logistics, who have tended to her day and night through blizzards and hurricanes and the scorching summer sun. You have cared for her like a member of your family. Thank you to the artists, musicians, writers, and dancers who have been moved by the ship and who have shared their incredible gifts with all of us. To the Conservancy's amazing staff and consultants, a small but mighty team that continues to work wonders. And plus, we cannot, under any circumstances, forget our legal team. I need to give a special thank you to the law firms that have provided invaluable support and who have also permitted some of their top talent to moonlight on the Conservancy's board, particularly the firms of Vedder Price, K.L. Gates, Greenberg Trowey, and Palmer Baisup and Henderson. I'd also like to thank the City of Philadelphia, who for so warmly hosting the SS United States for the past 18 years. Philadelphia's Pier 82 has now served as her home for even longer than Pier 86 here in New York. Together, we beat the odds, and together we refuse to give up. When the Conservancy acquired the Big U, as we like to call her, 5 years ago, with help from the extraordinarily visionary and generous philanthropist Jerry Lenfest, we rescued America's flagship only days away from the scrapper's blowtorch. We knew we had acquired not only a historic treasure, but one of the world's most unique and complex development opportunities. As we advanced our curatorial programming showcasing the ship's legacy, and we worked to attract international media attention to the cause, we also evaluated and advanced a range of potential redevelopment scenarios. We knew from the beginning that the ship's future depended on activating her commercial potential. We knew that renovating and leveraging the ship's 500,000 square feet of interior space would present unique and capital-intensive challenges. We worked with some truly visionary designers and developers, and we made real progress. We knew whatever the final scenario, we wanted the SS United States to make some real big waves. We wanted to ensure that America's flagship was not just relegated to history books or video clips. We wanted to save her. There's been a lot of speculation about today's event. Many of you wondered whether she would be returning here to New York, and she will, but New Yorkers will have to share her with the rest of the world. So, I am incredibly proud and deeply honored to announce that the SS United States Conservancy has entered into a formal option agreement with Crystal Cruises with the goal of returning America's flagship back to seagoing service. The SS United States is poised to once again energize, excite, and inspire a new generation. I believe my grandfather would be thrilled to see his ship reemerge as a technologically innovative, beautiful, luxurious, and modern vessel. And of course, he would want her to be fast, very fast. The Conservancy looks forward to working with Crystal to ensure that the ship is converted into a modern luxury liner, but that the essence of her history remains front and center. Our new partners will confront some challenges, but just as Newport News Shipbuilding and Dry Dock Company, United States Lines, Gibbs and Cox, and the U.S. Navy confronted and surmounted challenges in bringing her into the world in the first place. Like them, Crystal is poised to be big and bold and truly make history. The ship obviously needs some upgrades. She'll need to adhere to over 60 years worth of new rules and regulations. Her passengers will expect new amenities and updated cuisine. I was actually reading some vintage promotional brochures the other day, and guests in the day enjoyed kangaroo tail soup, caviar from Iran, and Scotch grouse in season. We'll see if these are going to make a comeback. Of course, the ship, going forward, will still sport her iconic funnels and retain her soaring name. She'll keep her unique razor-sharp bow and battleship bones and sleek racing hull. Our iconic interior spaces will be recreated, but she'll change. And change is both exhilarating and challenging. As the mother of 3 children with a newly empty nest, this transition strikes a deeply personal chord. A Harding Carter quote comes to mind. He said, "There are 2 lasting bequests that we can give to our children. One of these is roots, and the other is wings." Crystal is in a position to give our ship those wings, and the Conservancy will continue to tend to our ship's roots. We will remain passionately committed to honoring, celebrating, and preserving the extraordinary legacy of America's flagship. We will be working with Crystal to identify and preserve artifacts currently on board the ship that can't be utilized in the ship's renovation. We will be advising Crystal on the ship's history and design, and we will curate shipboard exhibitions of original artifacts on loan from our permanent collection. We will develop a land-based museum for the general public focused on the SS United States legacy in the context of broader themes of innovation and design. And we're hoping to anchor that right here in New York. Over 1 million people traveled aboard this ship during her service career, and we're working hard to collect and curate as many of those personal histories as we possibly can. As we work to preserve and showcase her extraordinary history, we vow to bring the same zeal that we brought to protecting her and helping her reach today's momentous milestone. So this journey began with a young man's dream, and when the SS United States was launched in 1952, she was a dream come true, not only for my grandfather, but for so many others. And now, here we are all on this historic day, so many years later. Our own dreams for the SS United States are in the process of being fulfilled. We are so ready for Voyage 401, and we are ready to save history full speed ahead. So thank you. And now it is my tremendous pleasure and my great honor to introduce the President and CEO of Crystal Cruise Lines, Edie Rodriguez.
Welcome all, and thank you for joining us to celebrate next steps towards a bright future for this great American symbol. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge very special guests in attendance and thank them for being part of today's historic announcement being held right here in New York City. Please join me in welcoming Jared Odesky from the offices of New York State Senator Brad Hoylman and Elizabeth Sheeran, Vice President of Cruise Operations for the New York City Economic Development Corporation. Again, thank you all so much for being here today. Crystal Cruises is honored to collaborate with the Conservancy to preserve and revitalize the storied and elegant history of the SS United States. Not only is it a privilege for us to embark on this monumental project, but we would be remiss if we were to pass up an opportunity to restore such an important symbol of luxury travel and a bygone era of America and Americana. It's only fitting that the world's most celebrated luxury cruise line for the past 25 years, with our own great and growing future ahead of us, be spearheading the efforts to bring the vessel back to her earlier splendor. As we begin the process for the ship's future, there are several technical components that we will focus on to assure that all current safety and regulatory standards are met. It is our ultimate goal that the SS United States reemerge as a modern luxury vessel. And in order to see this become reality, extensive exploration of the technical feasibility in the most responsible manner to bring her up to code must be done. While we have always been champions of cutting-edge luxury and pioneer offerings for travelers, Crystal has also remained true to what has made us great in our philosophies and our unyielding standards of excellence. This combination mirrors the SS United States' own history, with its status as the fastest transatlantic ocean liner, a record it still holds, as well as its reputation for grandeur that attracted nobility and celebrity alike, from Coco Chanel to Princess Grace. It is our aspiration that the ship returns to the seas as America's flagship once again, bringing her beauty of the past into the present and into quintessentially American ports like New York City. Of course, I am not alone in my commitment to restore this grandeur, as we have engaged a stellar team of experts who possess more than just tremendous expertise in their respective fields, but also a shared understanding of the significance of this great project. This team is led by retired U.S. Coast Guard Rear Admiral Tim Sullivan, who brings more than 36 years of active service and experience in ship operations, as well as collaboration with the U.S. governing agencies and entities. Tim's credibility will help ensure the feasibility study is conducted with appropriately wide consultation and rigorous adherence to both safety and environmental awareness. In her heyday, the ship was a destination in itself, more than a ship or mode of transportation. It was the way to travel. We aim to make her that way again. Our vision for the United States by Crystal Cruises includes shapes and palettes that recollect the chic style of her era, complementing today's finest touches and modern amenities, which are the hallmarks of a Crystal ship. Certain onboard features will be hallmarks of the Crystal experience, which will be joined by classic spaces like the Navajo Lounge, similar to the Avenue Saloon on Crystal ships, and the dining room spaces that graced the ship decades ago. From gold leaf embellishments found in the details and a prominent sculpture centerpiece to the personal attention and world-class culinary experiences on board. Glamour and sophistication will set the stage for the ship's stars of today, Crystal guests. Travelers will find homages, subtle and not so subtle, to the vessel's origin, with decor themes, styles, and textures, as well as photography that takes guests back in time. Service and attention to detail will remain paramount to travelers' experiences aboard the United States by Crystal Cruises, and just as it is aboard every Crystal vessel today. Fitted to carry 800 guests in stylish luxury, she will allow for the same space and crew-to-guest ratios as award-winning Crystal Serenity. It is our mission to ultimately see that the United States by Crystal Cruises allows guests to relish a bygone era of luxury travel while indulging in the modern extravagances that Crystal offers the world's most discerning travelers. I would like to, at this time, since a picture is often worth more than 1,000 words, I'd like to show a video now that will share just a bit of our vision for a glittering future of the SS United States. And before we roll that video, please keep in mind, these are just really ideas. We are going to continue to work at this, and I would say, and I would liken this venture much to the way, if it's hard to place an analogy with ships, but similar to the Art Deco district on South Beach, Miami, where you had these iconic buildings that have been restored to now the chicest hotels in the world, or our very own Plaza Hotel in New York, this iconic building that was restored to its historic elegance to the best as possible, embracing and harnessing the power of modern textures and technologies. So on that note, let's go to the video, please. Of this announcement and the scope of the work ahead of us, Susan and I would be happy to address the questions now, and on behalf of both of us, we thank you so much for being here today with us and embarking on this new journey with us. Susan, please join me. Thank you all. Sure. Well, I think first and foremost, there's a lot of history here. And I have to say, personally and professionally, as an American and somebody in this fabulous maritime industry for over 35 years now, I think we will be remiss as an industry if she wasn't revitalized and to continue in her iconic tradition. So it was something that I felt very strongly about, and I have a wonderful chairman who was very supportive of it as well and was willing to make the investment.
Do you have a time frame for when the ship might hit the seas again?
Well, I was asked that question earlier this morning. Obviously, again, we must get through this technical feasibility study first and foremost, but it is our great hope that within 2 years or 2+ years, so sometime in 18, and perhaps I'm being a bit too optimistic, but like the vessel, my nickname is Speedy Edie, and we will try our best to get it done as expeditiously as possible.
SS, steam, do you have plans for the power plant?
Again, we'll have to get through the technical feasibility study, and we have to adhere to modern day regulations, so we will cross that bridge after the study is done.
And if I could just add briefly to that, certainly the power plant is one of the SS United States iconic features, and the Conservancy remains very committed to ensuring the preservation of some components. That the details are going to be worked out in the coming months, but it is certainly a priority of ours to ensure that there is some preservation.
Do we have any idea where she's going to be refitted as a possibility? Any ideas?
Not at this point in time. Again, pending the technical feasibility study, all of that is to be determined.
During the feasibility study, who will actually own the boat?
The SS United States Conservancy.
The museum site, Susan, you said you're hoping for New York. Did I hear that correctly?
We're continuing to evaluate options, but we think that certainly the ship's great history in the city make this location ideal. And that is something we are very excited to be working on in the coming months and have already begun a number of curatorial initiatives, and those will now be accelerated.
All the way in the back.
You say you have signed an option to do this. How long does that run, and how linked is it to the length of the feasibility study?
Well, our current option is for 9 months, and we will evaluate as we go along.
Got time for 2 more questions.
So NCL tried to pull this off a number of years ago. Why do you think that you will be able to pull it off when they failed?
Well, failure is not an option, and it is not in my paradigm for a starter kit, but respectfully to whatever their endeavors were, this is a different time, it's a different day and age, and I think that particularly as a patriotic American in an election year, hopefully all of us as Americans would want to see her legacy continue. So we're ever the optimists.
We'll do 2 last questions. Brian?
Is it believed that the vessel is has it deteriorated to the extent that it's not seaworthy? Has that been determined yet? Is it able to be moved? How badly did it deteriorate in Philadelphia?
Well, if I could just say that her hull, it remains 92% of original strength. She certainly has some peeling paint and needs a bit of a makeover. But no, she's still in very, very good condition.
Before we go to the last question, we are going to do a photo moment immediately after this, so we'll have the crews in the back there have a chance to come back down and get set up, so it won't be rushed. So, last question.
One for each of you, one. For Susan, talk about the exterior changes to the ship. I mean, that might upset some preservationists, might it?
You know, we think this is the best way to save the ship. And yes, any of the plans that we have evaluated require some upgrades, some modifications, but we are very pleased with what we have seen so far in that the ship's original hull and a number of her most iconic features will inspire, endure, and blend into a something we see as very harmonious and very exciting.
Okay, Mr. Rodriguez, what would break the deal? Cost or environmental issues or?
First and foremost, EPA issues, environmental issues are paramount. So from my perspective, that is just about the only thing that would break the deal.
All right, thank you, ladies. So we're just going to take a few moments to set up. Edie and Susan will be available for questions afterwards. It's a photo moment. Just give us some time to arrange everything. And then, of course,
There's another television cameraman.
All right.
You go this way?